With the World Cup around, I had to make a video about something, and I didn't get around to doing a predictions video, but expect other video like this to come out soon, which will be a bit more fun. But this one will be a bit easier to make, so I'm going to do this one first. And it's assessing how England have done so far. Now, so far before the tournament, I predicted we'd win our first game 2-1, bizarrely draw 0-0 in the second game, draw 1-1 in game 3, eat Colombia in our knockout round in extra time 1-0, and then lose 3-1 to Germany. And already a lot of that's wrong, but then not every prediction is going to be dead on correct. But I'm going to go through each England game and talk about what's gone on. So game 1, Tunisia versus England. Now, I actually got this score right, 2-1 England. However, I would have probably said Jesse Lingard would have put them 2-0 up, as opposed Harry Kane putting England 2-1 up. But now, before this game, so much was riding on it. How are England going to do? Are they going to lose embarrassingly? What are we going to make of Southgate at the tournament? Is stuff that Gareth Southgate has improved also helping the World Cup? And also, since drawing Tunisia in our first game, they just got better and better building up to the World Cup, having got some in the last 5 results building up to it. 2 of them I've forgotten, but they'd beaten Costa Rica. I think they drew with Portugal, and only just lost out to Spain in the 85th minute. But what was going on was Tunisia were a brilliant side to challenge, and it will be very difficult. And then we have the actual game. And God, Tunisia did not live up to the hype they were built up to be. England dominated the game. Just like that. I can't click my fingers, but that just shows the speed of how good England were. So when England did it, what happened? They had the ball all over Panama's area, got so many chances in, although the main critical point was not taking them. And Harry Kane got the first goal in, and boy, it was a good one. And something that will be talked about in England's goals is the set pieces. Now, as the corner was taken, you had 4 players that were alone. Harry Kane, Harry Maguire, Jordan Henderson, somebody else. And then they just moved to different parts of the corner area, making it hard for the Tunisian players to decide who to mark and all that. And then Kane's there to head an easy rebound. And now then, later on, came Tunisia's only real moment when they'd won a penalty. I do not think it was a penalty. I know there's lots of people out there that do think it's a penalty, and compared to some of the other penalties that could have been taken, this is such a softie. But then again, I can kind of see why it was given. And Pickford almost saved it. And then there was really not much sign of Tunisia in the second half, and England just kept going. And And then right at the end was the moment that's got England the win, and everyone went absolutely bananas. I think that's probably going to be I'd say that's probably the best moment of the group stage for me. And on to the next one. So England versus Panama. So this was my bizarre prediction of 0-0. Boy, it was crushed. Not only by England's 6, but Panama's 1 goal. So, yes, coming into this game, England looked very good. The only thing that was really being critical was about England not taking their chances. And in this game, they definitely took their chances. Now, something I forgot to mention just a bit ago was the fact that England should have had 2 penalties, and Panama decided to take on that risk of bringing down Kane, and that backfired. But first, we had also noticed. So first, we had John Stones headering the first of his 2 goals, really showing that England were dangerous at set plays. And then, and people were really kind of before the tournament wondering if he's the right man to be played, and I certainly would have taken him. But I in my head I didn't really have as much of visuals of John Stones scoring, but it was still a good decision nonetheless. Harry Kane won on the first penalty and scored it. It really showed that trying to knock Harry Kane down was a stupid idea, and Tunisia were lucky. And then later, Jesse Lingard scored what could have been the goal of the tournament. It was fantastic. And then again, I can't remember which was first or second out of these 2, but John Stones again had scored from This time it was from a rebounded header, and then Harry Kane scored another penalty. And in the second half, England sort of were weighed down a bit, but the job was still done. And Harry Kane claimed his hat-trick despite not taking the shot. The ball just deflected off the back of his heel. So, yeah, that was a very good game. Biggest win for a while. Harry Kane becoming the 4th person to get a hat-trick in a major tournament, alongside Sir Geoff Hurst, Gary Lineker, Jodie Taylor, and himself, Harry Kane. And then you got Panama, who, because Tunisia had lost 5-2, that meant and barely a draw would do, and they were already 6-0 down. As a first major tournament, when they got their first goal, which I thought that was a poor way to concede from an England point of view, but for Panama, when they scored, the fans were very, very happy. This was the first time they'd seen their team score at a World Cup. And the fact they even qualified, they were given a national holiday. But anyway, I think England really kind of stepped up their chance missing problems from Tunisia, and again made it good. Made it count with this game. Now this had people divided for the lineup reasons. England and Belgium were both through, so they kind of played their B-sides. Now, many people were criticising the fact that there was not enough of strong players not enough first team players for England for England, and people would show that proof by England losing, and other people would say, well, they say, well, it's a good idea to rest some players. We picked these players for a reason. They're part of the squad, and they should have the right to play. And then that would come back from the players, the people who think the first team should play by saying, well, we got to keep the momentum going and win. And whilst the other spectrum would say, well, what if the players get injured? Or what if we win the group and then just go out in the next round and it's completely pointless? And then the other side would say the same for if England finished runners-up and then lost in the next round, being pointless. But anyway, I thought the game itself, England were the better in the first half. They looked good. They looked like they could get a goal. Vardy didn't suit in that formation, the 3-3-2-2, which is what England are playing. And Rashford didn't have the best of games, although I think he has performed in that sort of game before, so that sort of style. So I think that was just a one-off. Other people didn't see it that way. And I think the way we conceded wasn't very good by the Man United reject Adnan Januzaj. Oh, it was a pretty good finish from Belgium's point of view, but I think Pickford made a mistake by not going with his right hand. I don't know if his left hand is his stronger hand, but that wasn't the best of ideas. This one's probably the boringest ones to talk about. I thought Danny Rose, I think apart from the goal, I think he had a good match other than that. And I thought maybe for the last few minutes you could probably bring on some of the bigger players to help salvage something. Because if anything, it was Roberto Martinez that wanted to go for his runners-up as opposed to Gareth Southgate. And that's not the way it happened. I might as well just say next. So, Colombia versus England. I'm filming the day before yesterday, so memory's going to be a bit more fresh. And now I did a pub tour kind of before this tournament to plan, but I sort of just went back to my first one, the Anchor, with the Tunisia game. And like from there, there's similarities from that game, the Tunisia game, to the Colombia game, where England absolutely were all over Colombia. And to be honest, before the game, there was some unsurety from both sides of who would win. You could sort of say there was nerves and optimism put together. And for the Colombia fans, when they saw the game, they realised why they were nervous. And for England, I'm not sure how we didn't win that game 3-0. First half, it was all England. Came close to scoring. And there was that headbutt on Jordan Henderson that only got a yellow card. Bonkers. But still, I think England could have still probably maybe got a goal or two. And then in the second half, same, dominating the game. Colombia had a bit more of a sniff at things, but England got a penalty. It was about time. And Colombia just was. They knew the fouling was probably the best way to stop Kane, and even then it was still led to consequences. And Kane placed his penalty very well. And yeah, we could have probably won the game by then. Eric Dyer came on, looking to maybe make things worse for Colombia, to making it harder. And many people weren't having the fact he was coming on, but they changed their mind for later, which I will get to. And then Colombia equalised moments after a Jordan Pickford save, which from the angles I was seeing, I wasn't sure whether it was going in or not. But as for the corner, it was taken and then headed somehow in. And there's us England fans wondering how it's 1-1. They've not deserved this. They've not deserved this at all. Yes, but even in extra time, we're just so much better than Colombia. I don't know how much of James Rodriguez would have made a difference, but I'm not there to think, because I'm not going to think about that, because that might damage some thoughts. But anyway, just coming close so many times. Dele Alli had gone off, so did Ashley Young, as Danny Rose, Marcus Rashford, and yeah, I think that's about it for substitutions. There's also the Colombia ones, which I don't need to spend too much time thinking about. And then came the penalty shootout. First one from Radamel Falcao of Colombia, placed his well, and then Harry Kane. David Ospina could have guessed right. I think, yeah, he did guess right, in fact. But Kane's penalty was just too good. And then stepped up Juan Cuadrado. Now, in the pub when I ordered him a Chelsea redirect, there was some people around me laughing. And he missed probably the second best, the only other really good chance for Colombia. But he hit Colombia's best penalty, maybe the best of the lot. And then stepped up Marcus Rashford. I was thinking Vardy should be the next one, but later on we found out Vardy had picked up a knock. And I was wondering about how Rashford would do. Why is he here? But then he had another good penalty, similar to Kane's. And then came another player of Colombia, scored. And then Jordan Henderson stepped up. Another surprise. And he went a different direction. Saved by David Ospina. I was wondering if he's probably going to make a save at some point. And I was thinking, oh God. Because a lot of the times in penalty shootouts, one miss is the only miss. And then aim the next penalty taker. Yamal, something like that. And I think things would, the nerves and all that would sink right onto me if this had gone in. But never giving up, from what I think. And then he just hit the underside of the bar. And then I had this belief again, even though I was in my mind, I still had thought, well, England could still miss this next penalty. But my confidence was raised again. And then Kieran Trippier scored a good penalty. Then up stepped, to be honest, I don't know any of the other players that took after Juan Cuadrado. But Jordan Pickford pulled off a save. And then the next penalty, Eric Dyer. The one everyone had been not wanting to come on the pitch. Not everyone. I didn't mind. He was actually one of the choices I would have picked for taking a penalty. But he stepped up. So I was watching this on a projector, as opposed to some of the other TVs, because the projector had like the biggest screen. But so when Eric Dier stood up, I stood by the front entrance of the pub, looked to the nearest, probably one of the nearest TV screens which was to the right of the front entrance, Eric Dier's penalty, and then he scored, which was a great penalty. And then I just ran around the street and celebrated, and then ran back in, continued the celebrations. But as for what went on, he placed a good penalty. So that was the review, and by that Colombia review, it went quite long. But again, actually, I might not have mentioned this earlier, but I do have another video coming up, and it'll be a bit more fun, but this one was just a bit easier to edit. But yeah, obviously Sweden's the next game for England, and I'll probably look over it. I actually made a gamble too. No, it's not. The gamble's more related to the next video, but depending on how England gets on, I'll probably review the next set of games, and hopefully there'll be at least a semi-final for England. So that's it for now. Have a good one.